You hear me?
There you are. How you doing?
Doing great. Yeah, my computer is so slow. I need a new one.
Is it a PC, Mac?
It's a Mac.
Oh, really? That's surprising. They're pretty quick.
Yeah, it's I don't know how old it is, but it is super slow.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. My first time using this webinar program, so I'm learning as I'm going.
Hmm.
And I think we got a couple more coming in.
Okay.
Go. There's Becky Best is here. Ruth Ann's here. Awesome. Fun. We're supposed to have a couple more, so we'll give them just a couple more minutes. Did you get drenched today? I was
Able to avoid it. I was out there running from my car, so yeah. Did you get drenched?
I did.
Now the sun's trying to come out.
Yeah, it came up for like a hot minute, and then it disappeared again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're about ready to get started. Just don't forget to mute. I'll get because I get the feedback on it, and then you can't hear me. So don't forget to mute. And when you have a question, this is a bit more of a chill webinar. So if you have a question, just feel free to interrupt and ask. I'm not going to be insulted by that, so please do. And I'm going to make sure I give you back your time so that we get through it and that you enjoy it and learn something out of it and get going on it. So I know Becky's there, Joni, Ruth, see a couple of people listening in. Okay, awesome. Well, let's get going then. Well, I want to welcome you all here to, if you cannot see the AI for You PowerPoint that I'm sharing, let me know. You should be able to see it though. Okay, everyone's saying they can. All right, so on this, I want to welcome you in to the Generative AI and Power of Prompting webinar. This is something that I'm very excited about to do with you and to kind of illuminate what AI is and how it came about and how the power of prompting is going to impact you in your work and in your business. One of the fun things about this is that, you know, we've talked about this before. If you've known me, you've heard me say this, you know, AI is everywhere. But it's kind of wild that it popped up out of nowhere and you're suddenly supposed to know everything that there is to know about it, and that you're supposed to know how to work with it, and you're supposed to know what to do with it. And none of us took a class on it. Like, I had to go through self-learning in my own development of this to learn on it. There's no class. There's no AI training class. There's no AI class. There's no, you know, it's not like algebra where you go through it in school. So if there was a training course on AI, would you pass that up? So hold that thought. And you're here because in this webinar, you want to learn how to embrace your future. You want to learn to use AI and take advantage of it and have the power of prompting with it. And that's what we're going to show you today. So artificial intelligence has really brought the future to your keyboard. The society, I believe that today's society is based on skill, but I believe the future is driven by ideas. It's what motivates everyone to create and to inspire us to connect with one another with our own business. So my role in this is I'm here to guide you on having the AI skills to succeed today, since you've never had a class on AI, but also in the future, so that your ideas can come true for you. And with that, my name is Logan Monday, and I'm an expert in AI training and consulting, and welcome in. So you're here because you're trying to get two things in for two different parts. And that is two reasons. You're here to deepen your knowledge about generative AI. And if you haven't heard that before, you're going to hear that again. And by the end of this webinar, I guarantee you're going to be able to tell your kids or your family tonight what it is. And you're here for a second reason, which is to enhance your skills using the power of prompting. And it's really crucial that one builds on the other. And without the one working with the other, it's like the left hand and the right. They're not talking to each other, nothing gets done. So with artificial intelligence, there's really four types of it. And as a student of history, history for me is my greatest teacher. And of those four types, we've all been using AI since World War II in the 1940s. It just was never called that. It was called software. And the specific term is handcrafted knowledge. And what that meant is basically any tech that came out from 1945 to 1995 was exactly this. So Excel was AI to begin with. TurboTax was AI to begin with, but it's very limited. Like if you get one little thing wrong in an Excel pivot part or an Excel cell, everything else can't work. And the same thing with TurboTax. You get one line wrong and nothing works in it. So that's the type of AI that we use as software now. But the game changed in the mid 90s, and not just because NSYNC and Britney Spears came out and totally ruined music for everybody, but because machine learning connected us to our computers and the internet. And when Netscape came on board, you would, and with AOL, you'd plug it in, you'd hear that dial tone. That dial tone was connecting to the big bad internet world and the World Wide Web. But what was happening was machine learning was doing the connecting for you. And that was something that was very different than before. And that led to the creation of social media like Facebook and TikTok and all those things we use now. That's how they happened. And the third type are neural nets. You're never going to hear me talk about this again, but you're going to use it today. And the way that you use neural nets is that you use them on the internet when you're doing your shopping on Amazon or with customer service with like intercom, a chat bot. Anytime you use a chat bot, that's a neural net. And what they did was that they took what you could do with Facebook and they put it to our normal behavior of like shopping, of driving a car, of facial recognition. All those things use neural nets. And when neural nets got really good and they had enough money to buy enough chips, then something happened that brings us here today. And that is generative AI. And generative AI is really different than the other three categories because it's actually artificial intelligence, which means that you can engage with it and direct it and have it be your assistant. And that's why it's such a game changer. And the big one that you hear about is ChatGPT, but there are a couple of them before, like Jasper. Jasper uses marketing and copywriting, and but ChatGPT was the big game changer. It was the one that proved you could do it day in and day out. And then once it happens once, then everybody else tries to copy it and figure out how to do it for themselves. So in less than a year since ChatGPT came out, we've had them pop up. And we've had Google Bard pop up from Google, which means that it's Google's answer to ChatGPT, which means that it's trying to work the exact same way. If you haven't used it yet, I really recommend it. Right now, you can send an email from Google Bard through Gmail and without ever going into Gmail. And next month, you're going to be able to tell it to create images just from typing stuff out. But the way that you type it is through prompting, and that's going to be your superpower of how you instruct it as your assistant. And then today, Jasper is there with copywriting and marketing, and there's just a huge explosion, and it's overwhelming. But these are really the big three that you're going to hear about in the news for the next bit. So yeah, it's a big deal, and it's a big deal for another two reasons. One, it reduces time spent on small work, emails, data processing. But it also allows you to work through prompts. And this is probably the fifth or sixth time you've heard me say prompts. And let's go through why prompting is important. So what are prompts? Prompting is something that we use every single day. We just have never been told that that's what it is. So if I see one of y'all in person at Connect Nash, and you say, Logan, your webinar was great. Tell me, how did you make that PowerPoint? I'm being prompted by you to have an answer. And with the way that you make eye contact, your tone, how you're asking me about the event, all of those things are like normal for us. They're intuitive. But for a computer, it has no experience with that. And so programmers use prompting to instruct the AI. So when you go to a coffee shop and the barista is telling you what you can buy or what type of coffee, she's asking you, what would you like to order today? You're telling her through a prompt what you want. And you're telling her how you want it, if you want it hot, cold, the variety, all of that. And then another type of prompt that we do every day is something very open-ended in general, like just, can you pass me the salt at a dinner table? Can you fill this up with ice? Those are very general prompts, but to a computer, those are very difficult. And they are what can allow you to have big problems that you've heard about in the news. And they can also have a lot of fun where you can have Tupac sound like a Shakespearean sonnet. And then there are the prompts that we all kind of have to have, but we don't really want to, which are those detailed work prompts. Did you email somebody? Did you take care of this? Have you prepared the presentation yet? Those detailed prompts that you know what you need to get out of it are really important. And for artificial intelligence, they take a bit to get through. And I've got an example for you so you can see how to do it. So really, there are 5 keys on this prompt. And what it means is that for each key, it's having kind of a context for how you're in control of creating this prompt for ChatGPT. So the first one, they call it in programming language, the domain, which is really just the general area that it's written under. Like, I am a marketer. I am a small business owner. I am an interior designer. So you're having ChatGPT think about what box it's kind of going in as it's going to follow the prompt. We don't really do that in day-to-day stuff because we just kind of get the feel of how to do it in conversation. It just comes up. But for computers, it doesn't. And you have to tell it that first. And then you're telling it the task, what you want it to do, how you want it to do it. And then you're telling it who it's for, or you're telling it the general audience that you're writing something for, if you're writing a blog or an essay. How long you want it and the length. Well, we've all had that conversation with someone when you're thinking, I wish I could have told them I just wanted a 20-second answer. Well, with ChatGPT, you can do that. And then obviously the tone. So how do you want it to sound? Do you want it to sound like yourself? Do you want it to be more professional? Do you want it to be less professional and just more open-ended and friendly? That you instruct it that way so that it can follow through on it. So let's do an example, and let's do it in marketing. So we're going to have the 5 categories, those keys again, with the domain, task, length, persona, tone, style, or even attitude. If you're feeling feisty. And here it is with it. So you can see that with each color, it's following the structure of this prompt. So when you're instructing it, you're telling it to generate, which is the task. The domain is where you want it and how you want it done. So a series of LinkedIn posts. So because of its intuitive knowledge from being able to scan the internet, it knows what a LinkedIn post is. You don't have to explain that to it. The length of it, so under 200 words for 7 days, centered around the topic, which is AI and marketing. And then you tell it the tone. So these post tones should be professional, casual, informative, supportive, and engaging. And the audience, the persona, is for small business owners, marketing managers, and AI enthusiasts. This is obviously something that I use on my own for my business. And it works. I take it, I tweak it, I revise it, I instruct it that it did a good job, I instruct it that I like 80% of it, and then I say rewrite the other 20%, adjust the tone. That seems to be the one thing that it has to adjust on the most, and it nails it. And I enjoy creating content that is really relevant. I don't enjoy blasting content out there because I want it to have value. And being this specific in this prompt and following the 5 steps and the keys to it allows me to do that. So that's a tip here that you're getting that I wanted to share with you, because really it's that simple and it's also that complicated, right? Like, it takes practice. But when you're doing prompting, there's a bit of context with it. So we've seen that example that here, where each color fits the key for what you're writing. But like I mentioned, there are different ways to prompt people. So what do? Well, you think of it like this. There's actually a building block for it. And that building block means like the general prompts. So simple, open-ended. One that I've done in my life is, I'm a family of 3. We're traveling to the Midwest in a car with an 18-month-old. Help me create an itinerary where we can have hotels, stay, enjoy some decent food, see some sights, but not go crazy in the car. 20 seconds later, I have an itinerary. It's remarkable how fast it works. And then I tailored it for what I need based on like my family's needs. Second one would be the detailed prompts that we just practiced together. So precise prompts to complete specific tasks. And then the final building block is the kind of the golden nugget of it. It's the keystone for it. And these are system prompts. I'm not going to go in depth about system prompts today. That takes more time, but what they are, they're a form of prompts that instruct the AI to only think in the box of the type of business that you want it to be. Like, only a marketer who only is a content writer, you get specific in it and then it remembers it. Whereas with some of the examples that I've given you, you can switch it up immediately and change it and it'll adjust with you. But with a system prompt, it stays in that zone, that place that you put it in as like a marketer or a content writer or a algebra teacher, and it doesn't forget it and it won't go away from it. It's a little more complicated, and I like things to be clean and simple, so we won't go into depth here, but you can learn more about it later. So another general example, something that's open-ended and much easier to follow than maybe if you're not in marketing. And again, we're following the 5 keys here, is something that I have to think about here at home with, which is, how I have no idea how interior design works at all. When I see something I like, I know it, but I don't know how to make it or get it there. So I went to ChatGPT and said, hey, ChatGPT, you're an interior designer. So I need you to provide a step-by-step guide, but short, so I don't have to read too much, so less than 2 pages. For a small family like myself, redecorating a, what did I put, 10-meter square living room and a condominium on a budget and a modern minimalist style, including recommendations for color schemes, furniture, and accessories. And it nailed it. It absolutely did it. It's pretty long, so I didn't show it here because it would have taken a while to scroll through, but it absolutely hit it up and had some great ideas. The family looked at it together and we were kind of blown away with some of the ideas that it went through. And it's something that you can do within minutes, whereas it took hours to do this. It took hours to do this. And for someone like myself, I never would have done it because I don't want to go through all that and spend that time. But with ChatGPT, I can get it done. And my girlfriend loves this stuff. So it's a bonding experience because I actually feel prepared instead of feeling overwhelmed. And it only took me minutes to get the stuff that I needed to talk to her. So with that example, why is making AI work for you beneficial in today's world? Well, first and foremost, that's that second reason we talked about, you're elevating your AI skills. And with that, that means that you're going to get 3 things out of it. So you're going to be able to demystify AI like we're doing here and clear the air about all the hype and get immediate results like I just shared by making the complicated simple. That's my gift, is making things complicated that are complicated and making them simple, and really guiding as you use AI for your benefit in your work and to have it be your assistant. So you're going to be able to master prompting. So no coding jargon. You notice I haven't listed that out, haven't gone through that, and there's no need for it. With simple instructions, you can learn how to make AI your assistant, and it works. It's guaranteed to work. And the reason why I guarantee it to work is because I only do in-person and live trainings. There are 2-hour sessions, two 1-hour sessions for 2 hours total. And then those prompts that I shared, they're going to be 50 personal ones for you. And then also some coaching in there with knowledge management, because you've got to have it organized in case the electricity goes out like it almost did here. Before I go on, though, I'm going to show you a real-time example of this so that you can see that this isn't just something I've prepared, but something that you can do in real time without needing a lot of prep time to do it. So let me get it ready. I'm going on a whim here, but I like doing that. Okay. And I'm going to start a whole new chat, and I just want to make sure that you guys can see it. All right. So if you can't see it, please pop up in the chat or ping me. But I'm going to assume that everyone can. So let's do this together. So we'll say, hi, ChatGPT. How you doing? I'm looking to improve my marketing. And you can tell it doesn't just listen to you. It gives you ideas of how you can start working on that marketing in real time. But we need to be more specific with it so that you're not overwhelmed as you do it. It's like a really smart kid who just doesn't stop talking and giving you ideas and advice. Sometimes you got to narrow it down and remind them that you need an outcome before you start listening to them. So, all right, that's great. I'm a AI trainer and consultant. I'm needing some help creating a week-long content for my business. Can you do that? So you'll notice that I wasn't specific, I wasn't detailed, and it still creates it. It's awesome. This is a general prompt. This is the foundation that I showed you, and this is the most simple way to engage with it and still get good results. So all I did was tell it who I am and then what I need, and then asked it, and it does. So let's take that and let's go on the second level above the foundation into the more detailed prompts, and let's follow through what we did before, and let's see what it makes. So I'm going to pop up that PowerPoint. I'm going to use the example that I shared in just a moment ago. So generate a series of LinkedIn posts, each under 200 words, spanning 7 days, centered around AI and marketing. These post tones should be professional, casual, informative, supportive, engaging, comprise, and I put in the audience. What I'm going to tell it is, great job at GPT, but I'd like you to follow this prompt. Something that's interesting, which you won't really hear about in the news, is that since ChatGPT and generative AI only uses words, like you can't do audio yet, in the way that we're talking to one another. Google Bard's trying it. They're getting okay with it, but you're still using words. So what words that you instruct ChatGPT are the ones that it remembers, and it folds those words into its outputs. So if you're rude to it, you curse at it, like some people have tried to do, it creates that type of content for you. If you're polite, if you give it clear instructions, it creates that type of tone for you over time because it remembers it. All right, so here it is. With that simple, detailed prompt, now putting it through. Day one on Monday, we're going to do an introduction to AI and marketing. Going to hit it in there with some hashtags already set up to be used on LinkedIn. Day two, we've got personalization, customer experience. Day three, data-driven insights. Day four, chatbots, customer support. Day five, return on investment optimization. Day six, like a Saturday, voice search, SEO, and then Sunday, tools and resources. I might tweak this a little bit and have Saturday be more of like a personal sharing content about like what I did in a hobby outside of work or my business. However you want to adjust it is up to you, but that's the great part is that we can tell it that. So let's do that in real time. Great job. I like 90% of this. However, I'd like you to change day 6 for Saturday to be a personal post about my family and I watching the Tennessee Volunteers and how we unplug to recharge together. Keep the same structure and format. There you have it. It's really that simple. The complicated parts are in setting the structure up so that you can follow through on it and be able to get the output that you want. So it uses the words and tone that you like, and to be able to do it within minutes instead of hours. Weekend vibes, everybody. I don't know if I'm going to talk like that. I bet my girlfriend will, but I don't think I will. So I wanted to show that to you in real time so that you can see that it's not just something that you need a lot of preparation for. You just need to know the structure, how each of those 5 keys of the power of prompting unlock the generative AI door so that you can walk into it prepared and ready to use on your business and work. There's a lot more into it than what I showed, but that's the general idea. Let me make sure that I'm sharing the right spot again. And scroll through. So now that you see that, you'll know that as with any webinar, there is a point to it. And the point here is to show the benefit of a AI training session with you. And this means that when you're finished with it, the value that you get is that you're going to dominate and work with those prompts. I'm going to listen to you and to have conversations with you in a discovery session and in the 2 general training sessions. And then I will personally create prompts that matter to you in your life and your work, and you're going to get 50 of them. You're going to be a ChatGPT expert. You're going to command this with ease. And you're going to be years ahead of your competition because no one's taken a class on this. There's no education for it. And my motivation is to be your guide so that you feel comfortable, confident, and prepared to use it for years and years to come, and to come back to me because I've earned your trust so that you want to learn more about what you can do as this changes, because AI is changing. It's never going to be this way by next year. There's no way. Think about how much it's changed since it came out last November. And already Google's in the game. Already OpenAI is going to be valued at $90 billion by the end of the year. So doing this gets you years ahead so that you get to use it for your benefit and have it be your assistant. So the cost, all told, 25% off through this webinar, $4.99 for the 2 sessions, the prompts, the knowledge management assistance as well. And of course, it's all live. No recordings, no, I promise that we will do this and then we do that. No, it's all live at your convenience, at your schedule, and on your pace. That's why I am so passionate about this, because it matters to me that it's so effective about the training working instead of it just being efficient that you got through the time. I have no motivation for that. So we can stay connected, and I'd love it if you would just, unmute, share your thoughts, share if you've used ChatGPT and what you think.